बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। मेरी उन तमाम दोस्तों से गुजारिश है कि जिन्होंने अभी तक हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है, वो चैनल को ज़रूर सब्सक्राइब करें ताकि आने वाली तमाम वीडियोस आप तक पहुंच सके। थैंक यू।
It was not just an isolated incident of religious prejudice, a backlash to Islamophobia in the West, or a display of socio-economic pressures on the average person, when a mob set fire to several churches and looted Christian homes in Jadawala, Faisalabad district, full stop. It is indicative of the society the power elite has shaped, full stop. The state institutions' responses to this tragedy are as insincere as their pledges to root out extremism, given their lack of meaningful action, full stop. Following each tragic incident, state institutions condemn the act and vote to take strict action against those responsible, full stop. However, after brief confrontations, the administration often capitulates to religious extremists, full stop, while the superior courts tend to rule in favor of the victims in such cases, their interventions seldom bring about lasting change, full stop. Many are aware of the outcome of the one-man commission set up to enforce a landmark Supreme Court ruling on minority rights, and how its recommendations were dismissed by both the executive branch and religious factions, full stop. New para. Following the recent tragedy, Islamabad police set up a religious minorities protection force, full stop. However, this move seemingly underscores the state's inability to safeguard its citizens of diverse faiths, full stop. Many are aware of the police often in a different attitude towards marginalized citizens, full stop. Deploying such a force might only exacerbate the hardships faced by Pakistanis belonging to minority faiths, full stop. Power elites strengthen radical religious groups by arming them with legal tools against religious minorities and those that the majority refuses to accept, full stop. When questioned about the state's policy, institutions might produce numerous documents that have never been put into practice, with no display of genuine intent to do so, full stop. While they have drafted internal security policies, a national action plan, counter violent extremism strategies, established CVE centers, and issued decrees like the state endorsed Fatwa Pegame Pakistan, these efforts have consistently failed to manifest as effective state policy, full stop. They serve merely as a facade, masking the state's and society's more troubling aspects, full stop. The PDM government tried to introduce another CVE measure through a bill, full stop. However, it was thwarted by a few brave parliamentarians who believed its motivations were politically driven, full stop. The government reviewed numerous documents in its last weeks, including the CVE policy full stop. Ironically, the Interior Ministry and the so-called National Counter-Terrorism Authority refined a CVE policy that was never put into action full stop. Similarly, Paigam-e Pakistan has been successful in influencing the religious clergy full stop. New paragraph. The challenge of extremism is not as simple as imagined full stop. A moderate image cannot be manufactured. It needs a societal transformation, which in turn requires a humanization process full stop. The dehumanization of others cultivates the tendencies of extremism, and state or society unstrategic communications or counter narratives slowly impact these tendencies full stop. Equal citizenship rights can cultivate humanization tendencies in society full stop. State institutions are faced with the immediate challenge of bridging the discrepancies between declared policies and their actual implementation full stop. However, beyond bridging these gaps, there is a pressing need for these institutions to adopt their strategies to address new and emerging threats full stop, rather than relying on general approaches like the NAP and CVE policies, Pakistan should formulate specific policies targeting extremist groups full stop. This includes creating distinct strategies for groups like the TTP and TLP full stop. New para. However, the state still believes the religion can unite the nation and create a cohesive society full stop. Religiously inspired actors often exploit this notion to promote their own goals and motives, largely embedded in their sectarian and religious ideologies full stop. This is why such groups, including their political wings, have failed the state's ideological project and undermined the common good of society full stop. The common good is the well-being of the entire community, including its weakest and most vulnerable members full stop. It is essential for the sustainability of society full stop. Religious groups undermine the common good by exploiting the state's ideological design full stop. This is because they prioritize their interests over those of the wider community full stop. Instead of looking at the diversity of religious, cultural, and societal opinion in Pakistan as a sign of inclusiveness and plurality, par elites see it as a drawback full stop. The state institutions do not have the orientation of how to manage diversity full stop. This has significantly damaged the country's social fabric, mainly its humanistic values such as empathy and compassion, safeguarding individuals and societies from hate and aggression full stop. New para. The state's insistence on using religious groups to achieve its purposes has also contributed to this dilemma full stop. By outsourcing its national project to sectarian groups, the state has given them a platform to promote their agendas, which often conflict with the common good, full stop. In order to address this dilemma, the state needs to stop exploiting religious groups for its purposes, full stop. It also needs to create a more inclusive and secular society where all people, regardless of their religious beliefs, can have a voice, full stop. Pakistan, the state institutions and power elites often compare the country's situation to the rest of the world, particularly India, full stop. They attempt to suggest that religious persecution in Pakistan is not as severe as elsewhere, full stop. While such arguments might satisfy the elite, they do not alter the reality, Pakistan's situation is as dire as that of India, full stop. Comparing the two does not absolve the power elites of their duty to protect citizens of all faiths, full stop. It is understood that transformation processes take time, but they need to begin in the first place, full stop. New para, Saudi Arabia is updating its textbooks, removing anti-Semitic and anti-Christian references, and moderating negative depictions of non-believers and polytheists, full stop. Can Pakistan take similar steps, question mark? Beyond textbooks, Pakistan faces a more intricate challenge, full stop. Religious scholarship institutions in the country often fail to meet even the basic standards of other Muslim societies with fewer religious institutions, full stop. Many imams who incite violence are the products of these institutions, and currently, the state shows little intent to reform them or their curricula, full stop.